Hi, I'm Christy. Today I want to finish my 19 lessons that I've learned in 19 years of living with special needs. As I mentioned last week, AJ recently turned 19, and I'm slowly getting used to the idea and beginning to accept the fact that I really do have an adult son. It's so weird to me, but I'm proud of him, and I'm so happy to see how he's growing and developing into a young man of character. So as promised, here's the rest of that list in no particular order. Lesson number 10. Push him to learn new skills. Just like if he was typical, I want AJ always learning and growing. It does look different for him, but the basic principle is still the same. As a young adult, there are still a number of skills that he needs to learn. Skills to learn to live independently, or relatively speaking. Skills that he'll need to succeed in a job, and to figure out who he'll be as a young man of character, just to name a few. If I look specifically at the living independently, I realize that he's got the basic housekeeping skills down. He can clean a bathroom, he can vacuum really well. Now we're working on making his bed by himself. Then we'll move on to laundry, continue with cooking lessons, and then I want to teach him how to clean the kitchen. As far as work goes, he needs to learn how to focus well and consistently throughout the day. Lesson number 11, treat him as typically as possible. Now this is something that we've always tried to do with AJ, and we have him follow the same basic rules that Sean does. Complete your chores on time, finish your homework on time and to the best of your ability, watch your attitude, and show respect. Now, we do make accommodations where necessary. We make sure that the chores that we give him are ones that he's capable of doing or learning to do. And just like with anybody, there are times that I let a bit of attitude slide because I just don't want to deal with it. But there are other times that I do get on him for a bad attitude because it is something that is important to us. Lesson number 12. Innocence can be a blessing. There is so much bad stuff that happens in the world, and many times it's difficult to protect our loved ones from this. But I don't want the boys to be completely naive or unaware of what's going on. I do want to protect them in appropriate ways though. And obviously that changes as they grow and develop and mature. When your loved one has special needs, a lot of times they maintain that childlike innocence. And I've come to realize that this really is a blessing. There are so many things that AJ is completely oblivious to, and for most of them, I'm perfectly okay with that. Now there are other areas that he sees things in black and white. Actually, this is most areas. And so we've been able to teach him things that are inappropriate. One example that comes to mind is what words we are allowed to say or not say. And I realize that this varies by family. But it's pretty amusing that he can be sitting at his computer with his over-the-ear headphones on, back to the TV, maybe 3 or 4 feet away from him. We'll be screaming at him, AJ, AJ, trying to get his attention. Nothing. But he hears a bad word on TV. Oh, Mom, you not say that word. That's a bad word. Well, you're right, AJ. That is a bad word. Don't say that. While you're wondering, yes, we did have to teach him not to repeat the bad word. And yes, you can laugh. We do when things like that happen. Lesson number 13. Accept that some things may never happen. This is one of the downsides to special needs. There are some things that it can take away from our loved ones. Sometimes there are things that our loved one will never accomplish. There's disappointment in this. Don't be afraid to grieve that loss. It's real. Don't deny it. But at the same time, I've learned never say never. Some things will be accomplished that we never thought were possible. These people are not dummies, even if they're mentally impaired. Just like anybody else, they can accomplish a lot if they have the desire, drive, and encouragement to do so. Lesson number 14, be willing to give up some dreams. Now this goes along with the last one, that maybe we have to admit that something's not going to happen. My dream for AJ to catch up and become typical was shattered just before his 4th birthday, when we received a diagnosis of cerebral palsy, or CP. It meant that he would never catch up. And on the one hand, it was nice because I had something that I could tell doctors and schools and insurance, he's never going to be typical. On the other hand, it was devastating to me because it meant that my dream of him catching up eventually and being normal was never going to happen. But so I've come to accept the fact that he is mentally impaired. He does have CP. Those facts are never going to change. But those facts also do not change who he is. They're not a death sentence for him. and they're not even an indicator of whether or not he will lead a fulfilled, happy, and content life. As I'm watching him grow up, I'm realizing that he will do those things. And your loved one may never realize that there are things that they are not able to accomplish like everybody else. And they may never realize the differences. If they are, you can address them. Lesson number 15, be willing to fight for some dreams. So while we have to realize that some dreams may never happen, we also have to realize that there are dreams that we need to not be afraid to fight for, to push our loved ones to reach their realistic dreams. I'm a firm believer that people rise or fall to the level of expectation placed on them. And this is just as true for people with special needs. Yes, it needs to be realistic. But just because it's high and realistic doesn't mean that it's a bad thing. In fact, I think that means it's more likely that they'll reach it. Yes, they'll be challenged. Yes, we need to encourage them, help them, and believe in them. But then once we do that, I say stand back and prepare to be amazed at all that they do accomplish. Lesson number 16, be realistic about the possibilities. Once again, I would say this is true for everybody, but it's more challenging when your loved one has special needs. What is realistic? How much can they achieve? What's too much? These are all legitimate questions to ask for anybody. But when your loved one has special needs, many times they can't help you answer those questions. So as I mentioned earlier, sometimes what we have to do is step back and be objective. And then try and answer these kinds of questions. No, we know what they can do. In a general sense, we have a pretty idea of how far we can push them and what's too far. So for example, AJ going to college, not realistic. He struggles academically. He reads at a 3rd grade level, maybe a 4th grade on a good day. Not good for college. He does do well with hands-on learning or with videos, and I've come to realize that college isn't in the cards for him. Now, when he got to be about a junior or a senior, and his friends and the student aides that would come into his class started talking about going to college, he kind of got interested in college. And every once in a while, he still brings it up. Mom, I want to go to college. You do? Well, what would you major in? I will major at Paw Patrol. Now, for those who don't know, Paw Patrol is a preschool show on Nick Jr., I believe. But it's a preschool show. It's really cute. Sean and I will put it on if there's nothing better on at times. But my response to him is, they don't have classes in Paw Patrol. Yeah, Mom, I will study Paw Patrol. Okay, fine. Yeah, feel free to chuckle. We do. Lesson 17. Never stop dreaming. This is one of my favorites. Yes, we need to be realistic, but that doesn't mean we have to give up all of our dreams. AJ has dreams for his life. I have dreams for AJ's life. The optimist in me, and that one of the dreams I have is that he'll get married someday. I'm beginning to realize this might not be so realistic, and so I'm adjusting and admitting that it might not happen, but I haven't totally given up on it either. AJ's big dream, to be a big rig driver. Well, we've talked about how I don't know if that one will happen or not. But another dream he has is to change oil at the Ford dealership. Now, why the Ford dealership? I have no idea. But I'm not sure that this one couldn't happen for him. He's taken auto tech. He's seen it happen. It's routine enough. I don't know. I think that this one might be able to happen for him. Time will tell. Lesson number 18. Seek out their opinions, dreams, and desires. Once again, just like when someone is typical, we need to ask our loved ones what their opinions are, their dreams and desires, what activities they want to be active in. We need to show them the same respect that we do everybody else. There's a lot of memes or stories I see going around for social media that talk about how somebody with special needs is a person first, and they want the same things that everybody else does. And I totally agree with it. Now, I do think sometimes some of these memes are a little bit simplistic, but I do like the general principle. Our loved ones are still individuals, just like everybody else. They have dreams and desires, and we need to help them try and achieve as many of them as possible. And finally, lesson 19. Life is good, and there is never a dull moment. Yes, I end everything with it, because I believe it with all of my heart. My life is good. My life is richer because AJ, and therefore special needs, is in it. I'm blessed, my life is full, and I'm content. And there are definitely very few dull moments in it. Now, I regularly will post on my personal Facebook page about something that AJ said or done that has us all laughing. Part of what makes him so stinking funny is that he has no idea that what he's saying is so funny. Now, I know kids in general will do this, and a lot of parents post about crazy things their kids are doing, and we all laugh at them. But again, this is another area where when you have special needs, I think it exaggerates it, and it brings those laughs just that much more. So there you have it. 19 lessons from 19 years of living with special needs. I know some of these are pretty similar or different sides of the same coin, but I hope it's given you a little bit of insight into our life, and it's made you think about a few more things. So my question as I end is this: what lessons have you learned from living with special needs? Anything that you'd like to share? I'd love to hear about it. You can leave me a comment below, or you can leave me a comment over on my blog at www.havenofhopeforme.com. This originally posted in February of 2019. I'd also appreciate it if you would share this with anybody that you think would find it helpful. I'd love to help as many families as I can. If you haven't already, over on my website you can sign up for my email list. This will make sure that you find out about all new content as it's released. And if you're interested in my new course about adult transitions, there's a wait list sign up over on the right-hand side of my blog. This will give you course updates as they're available, as well as notification of all new content. Once again, I'm grateful for the 19 years with AJ, and the lessons that I've learned because he's in my life. And I'm looking forward to many more. I'm blessed, I'm humbled, and I'm laughing because, as always, life is good, and there is never a dull moment.